Greetings. Welcome to A Little Sunday Substance with me, Lady Substance, here on Hibiscus Live Community Radio, .mixlr.com. Welcome and thank you again for joining. Hoping you've been full enjoying the program on this community platform that I bring forward to you. As Lady Substance, I like to promote the living in your own truth, the embracing of self, the being true to who you are in this world. Because at the end of the day, who you are is who will carry you through your lifetime, and you must know thyself. Because there are people out there who want to manipulate yourself. So, how can you avoid those things? My life has been a roller coaster or a yo-yo in wanting to be in control of what I choose. And sometimes you don't always get it right or feel that you're getting it right. And then it becomes an importance. You begin to realize, be still for a while. Be still for a moment to recognize where you are, who you are, what is it you want. What is thy purpose? My guest today, to me, was an affirmation of that principle of being true to self, which came out of a sad moment, but through that sadness, there is still growth and inspiration. The person I'm talking about is a lady called Joy Francis. She's CEO of Words of Hclr. Got to know of her through the loss of the great Benjamin Zephaniah, and she invited people to write in on her website of the Words of Hclr, and I did, and through that, vibration, I'd like to know more about this lady. So, as I get to discover more about this lady, so shall you. I'm going to give you a song first. It's called Blue Butterfly, and it is about rising. We may all be caterpillars, but we can transform, in my mind. Oh, we go. Anyway, catch you after. This song is a dedication to those souls who at times feel all alone, as if they don't belong. A song to remind those never to forget we have not yet felt the best of self. There are times I feel so lonely. There's no other soul who knows me, and all that resides inside of me is unworthy. Spread your wings and hear nature sing. You have joys to bring. Spread your beautiful wings and fly. Blue, blue, blue butterfly, fly. Blue, blue, blue butterfly. There are times I feel despair. There are no souls who care. No investment to my repair. No dividends available to share. But spread your wings
Back shortly, a short break for a community ad.
Yes, I, Royal Roots and Sorrow Promotion presents Africa is Powerful. One African Family, a family of fun day on Bank Holiday Monday, 27th of May from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Hibiscus Community Centre, Buckingham Road, Stratford E151SP. Entertainment for all the family with face painting, storytelling, bouncy castle and refreshments for the children from Hibiscus Kitchen Cafe. Recitals from Liberation Poets, Mama Shaki.
Can't get a bite nowhere to sleep at night. It dread in a this your life, man.
And Leonard Harry. Liberation music from Roots, Bass, Foundation and Liberation artists and musicians, African Zimba and the Mombasa Band.
We are for you. I want to see this.
Featuring Liberation artists, fighters.
Let them bring you down. Reality.
To Cassie B. Bingy Life.
Yes, I'm trying to you. Yes, I really love you. Mama Africa, yes, I really love you.
And Kitty Roots. Liberation bookstores, art and much more on the day. Looking forward to see you all. This event will be broadcast live on Hclr, Hibiscus Live Community Radio .mixlr.com.
Let's welcome my guest, Joy Francis. So here we are, my wonderful guest, my beautiful guest, Joy Francis, Chief Executive Director.
Because I don't mind Chief.
Top girl, top woman, Executive Director, Words of Colour.
Hello everyone.
You're welcome.
I'm good.
Welcome. What I wanted to say is I did not know of you until it was the death of Benjamin Zephaniah, and you reached out for people to what did Benjamin mean to us, and I took that chance, and you read my poem.
Oh yeah, we published it. Yeah, because what it is, losing Benjamin Zephaniah so suddenly in the way that we did, and how impactful he is, and I know his brother Tipper, and do a lot of work in the mental health space, especially around creative interventions. And there's no question, responded on Twitter, just put something out on Twitter, just about how we felt and what he meant to us. And the response, the call out, for people who knew him, didn't know him, but knew his work, even in terms of their children being inspired by, what he'd written or performed as a musician. Yeah. And oh my goodness, the response to social media was just profound. It's, we had, the hit rate was ridiculous. Wow. And then Dion was one of the people who submitted. We had a cut-off point because, there's so much we could do. And so people submitted poems or just quotes, photographs of his visits, to their project, because he loved children. Yeah. And so, that's what happened, because then you sent your commentary and you sent a poem, dedication to him. Put it up, and then next thing I know, Dion sent an email
because
just saying, what's your relationship with music, and I just feel the need to reach out and do a show, and if you're up for it, here's a link, have a look, and if you're up for it, it'd be lovely to have you on, and that's it, so I'm here. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're just gonna go with the flow, but I'm here.
Yeah. And that's what it is about, going with your flow, being in the truth of who you are. Because when I say the discovery of who you are as a person, as a woman of colour, making it through in this world, this system, but not only what you do as a profession, but who you are as a person, it was inspiring. It's even talking to you now, I'm getting goosebumps. It's the inspirational vibration to see, you know what, we are not alone. Those fears or those things that we're trying to overcome, all of us are going through them. And when we see people like you actually you're doing, it's an encouragement for us to come and do also.
Oh, I appreciate
know,
that,
so
Dion. Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
it's-
I mean, you're doing the same. I mean, the thing is, when I looked and saw how you were getting yourself and others through COVID, you know, with your liming, with your songs and poetry and everything else, I mean, you have to put your imprint out there, because then that's how people find you. And there's a lot of people I collaborate with and work with who I find, because they've had the courage, I suppose, it doesn't suit everybody, you know, to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
So, and this is just another one. And also what you say yes to. Sometimes, you know, not everything has to be a certainty. But it's just how, but more importantly though, is how you approach people. It's just how you approached me. You know, I was like, oh. And it's taken a while, obviously, because it's just life.
Yeah, life
but
gets in the way.
but we're here.
Exactly. Actually, tell us about Words of Colour, because to me that was I think one of my things is, while we're searching, where do we go to where we can be trusted, because you know that there's a lot of people who will manipulate and people who will use you with your talents and that, but from this is what I'm saying, with you are open, you are true, you are
Oh Lord,
where you
I am
step.
human, and I'm still learning, and I'm still making mistakes. And you know, you only know as much as you know, and you're not aware of what you don't know. That's why you got to interact with people, and not all the time people that you necessarily chime with. So in terms of Words of Colour, Words of Colour has been going since 2006. I'm a co-founder of Words of Colour, and it's evolved so much since that time, because originally it was set up by myself and someone at the time who's, you know, it's called Nicole Moore, very localized, predominantly operating out of Hackney, and to support, I was a former journalist, and to support different narratives, refugee narratives, people who are othered narratives, older people's narratives, and the only way they would know about that is to understand what journalism was, to be trained in like citizen journalism, and to also support organisations to get their stories in the press and for them to not be misrepresented. So that was the idea, really, and also to get people in, you know, their stories out through literature. So I was working full time as director of the Creative Collective at the time, and that was focused on media. So I was sort of doing two things, and that was initially like a side project, and then I ended up taking it over, leading on it. And
So where was this? In Hackney?
this was in Hackney, because I live in East London, and then it just evolved, and I started to become much more passionate about it, and then we managed to get it onto a social enterprise footing, got incorporated everything else, and someone else called Paul Macy, who was a journalist, and he was one of the sort of main black journalists to cover the Stephen Lawrence inquiries, because he was at The Voice, he was a political
I was going to say,
correspondent.
were you working at The Voice?
Oh no, I never worked at The Voice. I knew a range of journalists who were involved at The Voice. I worked everything from trade publications, like at the time Community Care, which specialised in social care and health and mental health. I was then contracted to 5 Live as a BBC 5 Live when it more or less first launched as a researcher around social issues and politics. I was contracted to The Guardian as a contracted freelancer, writing about social issues in the media and money. Yeah, we got people with their money back, for example, on particular things. And yeah, I'm not going to say because I don't want to get sued, but a certain person in the media who shall remain nameless, responded to something that I call out, that I suggested that what I said about the media, he commented on me. So obviously I was in his eye line. I'm not going to say who, but not necessarily a pleasant person. In the
journalistic world.
In the journalistic world. So yeah, so I have done things with Channel 4 online, BBC Radio, and so on. So, and I was a journalism lecturer as well, and I helped set up an MA in media and diversity
Where do you
at
find the
University
time to do all of these things?
because I am a black woman. Because I'm a black woman, and you don't do these things on your own. It's all collaboration. But I've always knew that I couldn't work in an institution. I had a really cushy journalism job first time round, but I knew I just wanted to do my own thing with others, because you just have more freedom, more choice, you reach more people, and I think I just wanted that freedom. And you just have to own who you are, and I just think that those sort of spaces are not good for my well-being. I knew that from very, very young. So people thought I was crazy walking away from
The security,
a secure job and everything else, a career actually. But no, I've met some fantastic people on the way. So Words of Colour came after we set up the Creative Collective, myself and 4 other journalists of colour, black, of mixed heritage and South Asian. I'm inspired by Stephen Lawrence and how his case was not covered, how he was criminalised initially before they realised, oh, actually, he was the one who suffered. He's a victim. Do you know what I mean? And then his parents, Neville and Dorian, had to be pristine for everyone to buy into that narrative. And we saw the other side. So that was so frustrating for us as journalists, but also the fact that there's very few of us on journalism getting onto journalism programs. It's not easy to get onto, and we're like 1%. So all those things. So that's inspired me to be here, and also what was happening to us in terms of our overrepresentation in terms of the mental health statistics, and which is disproportionate, period, and then disproportionate to other countries. But then if you're living in the country of the colonizer, inevitably it's going to impact you, because if you look at the rates like in Caribbean countries and African countries, it's just not comparable. So what's going on? So you mentioned at the beginning about systems, isn't it?
Yeah.
So so you just have to look and think what you can do, and what you can't do, find the people who can help you do it. And so that's just my approach. I work better as part of collaboration rather than on my own. I don't know everything. Do you mean? And you move faster in the world.
We need that. You have to link. No one is an island.
No.
We need that, and it is people who are passionate and who actually are true about what they're doing. Because the reality is, we can't play politics with this. It's a reality,
it's
because it's affecting it's people's lives, and when you are the one that's disproportionately affected, whether it be because you're a woman or because you're a person of colour or because you don't have the financial security, it is a pressure.
Yeah.
And we are the ones who are living within this pressure cooker of things, and we still have to be better.
Turn up. Show up.
Yeah.
And some people have to code switch, to survive. And I think in terms of, so we're just quickly about where Words of Colour is at now, because it's evolved. It's been rebranded about 4 times, because you can't be static.
Yes.
And we have to move with where our constituencies are and with all the changes that are going on. So what we are now is we move from primarily focusing on all the writing forms, to getting people to express, because we're creative people. But we have a very strong oral tradition, and when you think about it, we were almost told or implied that we are not literate.
Yes,
right. I mean,
the way to be to black man? Don't give them a book or
we don't
like
read.
That.
Things like we don't read, which actually, I mean, that's all out there as factual. Backed up by research. The fact, for example, publishers, there was a long history of thinking we don't read, right? So, I mean, but also, just from the point of safety, and historically, we had to then do oral traditions to protect ourselves, because how we spoke, who we spoke to, and what was written down could get us killed. So we can't ignore how that has impacted on how we move in the world. So, from my perspective, I mean, where we are now and how it's evolved, and I had to open up and be more visible. Do you know what I mean? Because I like my privacy. I like to do the work and to go about my business. To know my business.
I know that feeling.
Which is very Jamaican.
This is where I'm kind of at the minute now, is I'm verging onto something. Do I really want to be here? You know what I mean? Yes, me like to step backwards. Yes. And have the overview, because it can. I know what gets too busy and distracting and gets in the way of me being me.
Yes.
Finding that balance, which is why I said the blessing of coming across you and what you do. To me, it's the answer from the universe. This is how you do it, D. You know, it's the coming together, the collaborations, the communications, the
Yes.
willingness to say, this is where I'm at. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's going
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay,
Yes.
you know. And I think, so where we are now, Hclr is the immersive change agency, and our focus is on creating alternative pathways for artists, writers, communities, entrepreneurs of colour to thrive. And so, you know, everything from when research is done on us or research is done, public
Yeah.
money, our money, how are we included? Have they thought of creative ways to enable us to be engaged? Right through to developing our own projects. You know, so for example, we're working with Manchester Poetry Library and also Manchester Metropolitan University in the northwest. We've co-founded a Poets of Colour incubator to develop poets of colour in the north of England, and for them to have the time, the resources, financially and otherwise, to develop the ideas they have that around changing the world, around change agency, and for them to know that their creative well-being is going to be looked after, and for them to develop models of creative entrepreneurship that they can thrive, because poets are the most poorly paid creative artists, and yet we're populated quite heavily in poetry, and more and more young people want to do spoken word. And
I'm not gonna say what,
but that's changing. That's changing.
Poetry.
You know, so yeah, and so helping them to know they can develop a career in that, and the way to do it, and it is around culture change. I'm getting, you know, people to rethink how we're positioned, and for us to rethink how we position ourselves. You know what I mean? So this is an ongoing thing, because it's about how I live, because I'm also a creative and an artist myself, and how what's in place to support other people. This whole thing, you know, about you've got to sit at the table. I'd rather find my own table. I'd rather repurpose, you know, re-love a table and create it with other people, with the right people. And if they want to come, fine. But I am not waiting for them to invite me and them system. But anyone who buys into the system, anybody, you know. So that's I think that underpins where we are, and we have to look after ourselves, because a lot of these spaces that we're expected to go in and succeed are not good for us.
Yeah.
They're just not good for us for obvious reasons, and for what's not discussed but yet keeps coming up. You know, there's always one scandal or revelation or whistleblower you know, situation after another. So
Where does that leave us?
Good question.
Exactly, and this is why I have to reiterate and say, know yourself, be true to yourself, and yeah, we have to live in that faith of don't worry about them, and look upon what you are doing and what is it you want, and you will find, the faith of us will find. Jah has put things in motion. People are in motion. We are in motion. Trust me, I feel the link with you and what you do, Words of Colour wise, with what we are trying to do here at Hibiscus, which we are fighting to be ourselves, to claim our community cultures in the arts, as well as the mindset. I have met so many philosophers, but you know, it's just me some man down the road, but they all understand the bigger picture of how we survive in this place, because we have to have our head held high. We have to have that faith in ourselves, which if we're left in this society's hands, we beat up on ourselves, we hurt ourselves. Like you say, the mental health side of our people, we're under pressure all the time, and that learning not to implode gives us, you know, you don't want to explode, you know. So who is there to support you when you're told you're gaslighted when you bring up an issue, or you've got a chip on your shoulder if you talk about another issue? And you know, this has been my story. I feel like a pinball, you know, but I stopped. Sickness, health, you know, and it's like, but the wisdom of kind of like, it's for purpose. There's a reason behind all of this, and I had to rethink, re-educate where I'm at. And this, I encourage you all. We think we know stuff. Just recheck. Recheck and see where you are really in this world, and is it really what you want?
Yes.
And
that's
then that's the next thing.
That is so true. Because look, I'm gonna be 60 next year. All right, I'm 59 in this year. Look, my mum keeps saying, "Wait, tell them." So people need to know. I have been on this planet over. I should know better banging the table actually when you're recording. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
But but being on the planet,
Wow.
when you've been on the planet for over half a century, and all the ancestral stuff that's behind you as well, there's a point you get to, and it's like, you know what, the knowledge that we have, and the fact that we straddle, and the, you know, how many millennia, and the, you know, analog and digital worlds.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we know, and it needs to be shared. And I think we need to, not everything is just about being young, because being young, there is so much you don't know. You think you know, you don't know. And I think, going back to your point about, you know, you're not static, because already I'm like, I feel like my life is just beginning, to be honest. And there's a lot of things that require particular energy, and there's a lot of things that you said about all the different things, right? So, I mean, I'm grateful I do not have children, because I admire parents who can do what they do and contribute so much and have children, because I think I've been able to move like this because I have agency, and I'm not a parent. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have I don't have those responsibilities. Obviously, if I had children, you'd have to renegotiate that, because you need to be there for them. So I think that do not limit or believe that your time is over. It's really weird with this whole thing about being reborn, because again, when you're ill, because I've gone through, I can say, well, more like my body just tells me that, you know what, you need to listen. And then I call it spiritually enforced rest. So when and with me, because I'm very physical and I'm very active, it's always in the body. So I will, you know, have to have an operation. So I recover quickly, but it's like, please, but then I'm watched. It's like, yeah, how quick you can bounce back and forget what this should have learned, your lesson. So I always make sure, as soon as something happens to me, I think, oh, I need to slow down. There's something telling me I need to stop. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I become the best pupil, student ever. You have to.
That's why she looks so good, you know. That's why you're glowing, because you listen. The Creator bless you.
But sometimes you're glowing even in the midst of pain, you know, because once you sit with it, and like you're saying, it's about the acting out. And I've learned how to emotionally regulate in a way that's constructive. It's not about suppressing who I am. It's just like being able to sit with the feeling. Before, when I was younger, I couldn't. That's why my mum was like, Lord, who's gonna employ you? Because I was so strong-minded.
I love that.
But I now understand my emotional makeup.
Yes.
It's my emotional makeup is not everyone else's emotional makeup. So I had to, you know, get the support and get clear about all of that, because otherwise I would be led. Even though I think I was in control, I would be led because my emotions would be leading me. Exactly. And so whereas now I just own the fact I've got emotions. See it there. And there's sometimes you just have to listen. Sometimes you don't have to do anything with them, because they just allow them to pass through you, and they're telling you something about something you need to release. Exactly. Something that actually doesn't fit you anymore, or something that's just not true. Yeah. And it's like, and I think with Black people in particular, I think, and you know, Black people are my passion. Doesn't mean I get on with all Black people. You know, that's life, because all we need to do is look at the current government, right? The most diverse in terms of
open your
race,
eyes.
And some of them scare the bejesus out of me. So all I can say is, you know, when you're looking for your allies and everything else, there's certain things you need to look and feel. Yeah. It's a combination of things, and I just think that you know, a lot of the time we are bypassed. People are always telling us who we are before we even step in the room. People are telling us without even saying anything who we are. And actually we need to have spaces where we can figure that out for ourselves. Exactly. You know what I mean? And not in a judgment way, but in a constructive feedback way. Do you know what I mean?
This is why I do this. I want to make sure I am part of the people who are saying the ordinary are special. The ordinary is necessary. Being who you are is vital. But yeah, you've got to do the works to find out. And if you can avoid being sick before you get these wisdoms, yes please. it's better after you.
But that means you're God. I'm sorry. I just think I really think it's difficult unless you we say born big. I think there's no way with what our legacy that we're not going to get ill.
Yeah.
I think it's what we do with it when it happens. If you're not stigmatized, if there's space for you to recover, if there's space for you to talk about it, because remember the common theme, isn't it, or thing that we've always been fighting to get is talking therapies, therapeutic environments, our spirituality being centered as part of it. You know, we're going on about veganism, and we know veganism is really a euphemism for ITAL, right? And so we're in those spaces to have the conversations, and when you're slighted at work, you know, but you don't want to just leave. But then you've got no
exactly,
space.
or you can't leave. You know, you feel tired there.
That's right.
You know, it's like, and then you feel you're suppressing part of who you are to be that, and that's the thing. It's about what you were talking about, knowing where you are and what it is that you want out of life. Because if you get too bogged down, you're dragged somewhere else. Next thing you know, you're somewhere you don't want to be, and it's strength of nature, character that brings you back. You know, so what we are doing here, we are showing you it's possible. It can be done, and it's not as daunting as it may seem.
Yes.
Everything takes energy. You might as well put positive energy into self.
And it takes a village.
Yeah.
I am standing and sitting here because it takes a village. You know, there's no way. I think when you start thinking about what you need to do, and sometimes it's going to be lonely because not everyone's going to come with you, and not everyone's meant to come with you. Yeah. And sometimes we hold ourselves back by trying to bring everybody, and it's not. Some people, they just need to just wave you goodbye and watch you from the sidelines. But
that's what you learn as you're going through it, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. and it takes a village, because I know I am here because of a lot of amazing people who were in my life and are still in my life. And who I could pick up a phone to, just like vice versa. Do you mean when you can't have that one-sidedness? Because it was like that for me for a long time. I felt I had to carry everything, strong black woman syndrome, and then realised, what's this? What am I doing? What am I doing? Nothing to do with anyone else.
See, the song I play, Blue Butterfly, is that thing in despair, people letting you down, coming up, where am I? Who am I? Do you know what I mean? All that kind of thing, and then it's like the voice that says, stop. You know, you are part of nature. Go and be, you know, and I cannot describe enough, and it's frustrating as someone who calls herself a writer and that, describe the pleasure. When I say I've got goose pimples here, because when I say I feel the naturality of what has happened in our meeting and what we're discussing, because we're not alone. We are not alone.
It's the first time we physically met each other, because everything was just a Zoom, email, Zoom call, and I'm here.
See it there?
You know, if you don't ask,
you don't know. You don't receive. And the link with Benjamin Zephaniah and Hibiscus Community Centre, we did a Rastafarianism in Motion debate through lockdown. Everybody locked down. He participated. He was a willing participator. You know, and it's like the advice he was giving, and it's like, not that we did take it, but he was saying about, you know, get the sisterhood going. That beauty there, this community centre here, and we're led here. You know, all these things in between, they're the inspiration, they're the juices, they're the fuel for us.
And it's lovely, while we're doing this recording, I'm hearing nothing makes my heart sing and make me want to cry half the time more than hearing children being children. And that's what's going on outside in Hibiscus Community Centre. I can hear it. I'm just like, oh my God. That's what gives me goose pimples. You know, that. It's wonderful.
There's hope. There's always hope. And believe me, for somebody who calls herself a miserable woman, for me, if I say there's hope. Believe me, this is true testimony. And, you know, going to lead on to the next one, because you see, you beautiful woman yourself. You do all this positive, like your journalism, that factual reality check. But what's your true passion?
Music. Music and film. You know, music and film. So, you know, the thing is, I've spent my life, really, from when I ran Saturday schools from 17, and I ran one in Deptford, even though I grew up in Tottenham. And I love that. From young, I just love the idea. Summer scheme, working with kids, or a summer scheme, the good old days where your children would be able to be
Summer
held
club,
for 6 weeks and they go on school trips. They've learnt tennis, made T-shirts, made candles. Loved it. That's so back in the day. And so
You think that can come back?
with now how many councils are becoming bankrupt because of it's not just government mismanagement, but obviously in terms of local where our money has been invested. Because if you remember, some of them invested it in Iceland, and when everything happened with the volcano? Yeah, so all these. So I
much
think
corruption with the financial
I think
process.
different things can. There's still things still exist. Do you know what I mean? But I think it depends where. But I think the Saturday schools are so many people of us are product of extra tutelage or Saturday
Not
school
enough.
or not enough exactly. But I think that whole thing about just think about the next generation and it's about the young people and the summer schools and stuff like that. It's just. That's what. But now you have. I mean, unless the youth clubs, we know that, and community centres have been closed down. But a lot of the passion you're talking about, saying about music, because what it is, at 57, had my first DJ lesson, because I spent majority of my professional life developing other people. I've developed artists, writers, creatives, entrepreneurs, women who are doing well. So it's great because I've spent my life being able to go to events and everything because they're doing well, reading books, being invited to stuff, which is fabulous. At the same time though, my own creativity was always stop, start, stop, start. I do it, stop, do it, stop. So it's a creative process doing all this, and then you're in control and working with people you want to work with. So all my DJ friends, a lot of them women who've been around a while, just looked at me and said, if I go hear you one more time doing your own playlist when someone is playing, saying I'd play this next, you need to do something about it. So before we had lockdown, the day before we went into official lockdown, in March, when was it now? 2020, isn't it? 2020.
Yeah.
You have to think about this.
Memorable March 2020.
2020, yeah. I was in a studio with DJ Chills. He's an amazing DJ and composer, having my first DJ lesson. I got so excited, and what happened the next day, we went into official lockdown. So I had to wait 2 to 3 more years. Last year, on my 57th birthday, I said, I'm treating myself, and I'm going to go and get some DJ lessons. And I found On The Rise Academy, or they found me, because everyone I approached didn't get back to me. And yet somehow this popped in, again about when it's time. Yeah. This thing, I'm not subscribed to them as far as I know. They popped into my inbox saying, we're doing all these courses and you can have one-to-one. When I saw who was running it, someone called, oh my God, it's gonna kill me, Terry Ryan.
Shout out Terry Ryan.
Oh God, that's his full name. That's terrible. Terry, just say Terry. Terry, and he runs. He's got a label. The amount of is so exciting. But he works with everybody, and so I had one-to-ones with him, and he goes, right, go forth and do what you need to do. After like 16 hours, I thought, what? So I've got my DJ controller at home, my practice. I did a birthday party. My first official gig was a birthday party, and I didn't take any money because I said, look, if I screw it up, I don't want to be in a position, that responsibility, do you know what I mean? Of having, so I said, no, I just want to do it for pleasure. Let me just see. Went well. And then I now have, I don't know when this is going to go out, but I now have my first public paid gig at the Museum of the Home.
What day?
On the 7th of June.
It'll go out before the 7th of June. So 7th of June.
Museum of the Home, which is an artist takeover as part of a exhibition celebrating and looking at African and Caribbean food. And it's curated by and around someone called Melissa Thompson, who was one of my interns, media and journalism interns, many moons ago, and now she's a very successful, very successful food writer and journalist and cook. So yeah, there'll be different artists. I'm just gonna do an hour-and-a-half set, celebrating the best of African and Caribbean music.
What's your musical? I was gonna say.
My DJ handle is Hybrid J. DJ Hybrid J. I like a range of music.
Hybrid, you're coming like the Japanese guy.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. That's a nice vibe, and I'm a bit obsessed with Japan's culture, really.
You and my son will go well together.
Yes, and so I'll be doing an hour-and-a-half set while people are enjoying themselves. It's not going to be an out-and-out party, so I need to get my act together with that. 7th of June, Museum of the Home, from 6 o'clock.
So where's Museum of the Home?
Museum of the Home is Hoxton. So as soon as you come out of Hoxton on the overground, you can get to it there from Dalston Junction, for example. As soon as you come out of the station, you can't get lost because it's literally outside the door.
Was it a ticketed event?
Yes, the tickets are between £5 to £18. I think our section, because there's a series of talks. I think food, but don't quote me on that because they only just confirmed everything publicly today before I came here.
If they might just something about for them, if you have food.
True. So yeah, I think there's food. And then I think the slot that I'm doing from 6:30 onwards, because there's different parts of the museum is happening in. I think that part is £5, I think. But so yeah, have a look, check out, just put in Museum of the Home in Google and then check it out. But I'm excited about that, you know.
If you've got a little tingling going on, maybe trust it, go for it. Give it a try.
Yeah, it's never too late.
You know?
I'm telling you. And I'm menopausal, so this is not the best time to try and do 2, 3, 4 hour sets. But I'm telling you, but even just the practice is just good for your mental faculties anyway. And when you're in it and in the zone, and you're doing it from a place of love, it's not about what people see as perfection. It's about the fact that people feel that you're doing and you're doing it. Nothing beats seeing people having a great time to music. I still do. I couldn't imagine not dancing and not having access to music.
Yeah, I've got to say, music for me is definitely my healing. It puts me in another place, a place of hope, you know, and being able to sing. And this is the sadness and the beauty, you know, all these years where I didn't believe what I had was good enough, you know, but this thing was making me happy. You know, but I'm not right yet. And it took too long. But I'm not going to curse that because the road that I've travelled I've had to learn things along the way, which has helped me to be where I am now. And this is what it is, Samia.
So when you say too long, so when do you feel you then became visible? When were you at the point where you say, I'm doing this?
It's been the last 10, 11 years, to be honest with you. After me dropping on my kitchen, I'm nearly dead, right? But I lived, this is what I'm saying, I lived, and it was like, I was, to be grateful for life, I must live life. You know, all these, I had to relearn that, you know, be true to the word. If I'm grateful to life, why am I crying and being miserable and not doing the things that I was given a gift of? You know, why am I, you know, I had to relearn that. But that happened in the January, the July anniversary coming for that, I had an operation on my neck. The pain I was in on that. Everything me promised in that January went out the window. I could not function, you know. But music brought me back. The band that I'm in now they kept me going.
What are they called?
Into funk.
I didn't know you were in a band. That's amazing. So you sing in the band?
Sing in a band. It's like,
and do you write your own tracks as well?
The band does. The band does covers as well as originals as well. It's like a funk, and we do some reggae. We do. Yeah. But what it is, it's a group of people. We're all over 50. We are all got issues. But when we're together, there is love, there is happiness, there is joy. And then when you look at an audience and they are smiling and they are happy, and you talk to those people and they uplift you, that's my medicine. And it's like, yes, I can only be what I am. And it's okay to be what I am. So, yes. Encourage all. It's that listening, you know, like you say, you help people, but do we actually listen to what we're telling them for ourselves? Learning, you know. So as much as I recognise where I've come from, I'm not there now, but I can have moments when I go down. But the pleasure, the beauty is, I know I can get out. There is a light. I know I am the light. And that's another beautiful thing. When you're in your truth, you are glowing, you're shining. And no matter say you're 50 and you play them tune there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing is, you know, the lightness and the dark, that's the thing about they coexist. You know, and I think the thing is, if people can understand that happiness is not a permanent state and that you need both, and there is a beauty even in the sadness, it depends about how it's managed. It's always about how things are managed. And it's about being around the right people, not anyone who makes you feel shame for feeling, for being human, you know. And when we're dealing with constantly being told that our skin is thicker than, you know, in a way that like almost like we're an elephant. Elephants are sensitive, you know, and like we could withstand everything. It's like, am I not human? So my sister always says, am I not human? And I think
that's one
we
of the
need to be aware that
cruxes,
we're not reinforcing our inhumanity.
Yes.
Like we are superhuman. Yes, we have superpowers, but it's not self-destructive ones. It's not ones where we put ourselves in a line of fire or take our own well-being and health and strength for granted, because everyone's vulnerable, and that's fine, you know, rather than trying to fight it, you know. And I just think that there's different. A lot of the time, we just need the spaces to have the conversations, because sometimes you can't have them with your family because it's just how it is. The pain is too deep.
And not every conversation is going to bring you to a solution, but
it may be a stranger. It may be a stranger. It's like, you know, look how we're talking now. It's like, you know, sometimes I have the most amazing conversations with people on a train, and you sit and you look at each other, and then half the time there is some connection, and you're like, the flow's there, but you've gifted someone. It could be just holding the door open for someone.
Exactly.
It could be just smiling at someone. That's one thing for me, especially since COVID. Especially for the younger people, even no matter how, because I remember how mardy my face was when I was younger. No one could, you know, mardy. I'm having dance in front of my face was serious. You know what I mean? And so I know to look past that with young people. Do you know what I mean? When you see them and because they have to come up with the armor, because the world is tough, especially when you're young now. So I'm smiling at them whether they want me to smile at them or not. Do you know what I mean? Because and then when you see that other layer just come down, because that's the survival mask, and then when they smile back, when they realize you're smiling at them, you're not judging them.
Exactly.
Because they get that all the time. We get that all the time.
We had that, you know. I mean, I think a lot of the issues I've had is because I'm thinking of what other people are thinking already, because you feel that judgment.
Yes.
You know, learning to let go of that. And I encourage, because we need our children to be able to be confident in who they are, so they can speak what is inside of them. And we as the elders and the adults being able to listen to them, because we should be remembering, we can remember the paths that we've come. You know, there is a thing of human nature. You know, there are some who are saying, we went through it, so why can't you?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be making it easier. You know, the things that we moaned at our elders who did not make it easier for us, we have to remember our younger ones are going to do the same. The cycle, like as you say, you know, we're going round in it, but to embrace it, that it has to be done. It's not fearful. The more we hear the stories, it's not fearful. It's possible. It can be done. Because we need our youth. We need our youth.
Yeah, and they need to see us. They need to see that they're someone who could be their mother and grandmother, grandfather, grandparent, whoever, is still valuable and vital in the world. Yeah. Because if they just use what's happening now, and there's less opportunity for young people, you know, at the moment, there just are. There just is. And then they see us, and this is possible. It's not gonna. Yes. It is possible. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's important, and for them to look at age differently and not just be dismissive, which society encourages all young people to do. Really, you know, that everything is about. If it don't happen now, there's some, you know, that's
something wrong with you. You're not doing something right. It's not about that. Just time, you will get there. But don't give up, and don't think what's over there is yours. You are unique in your own thing. You know, and it's possible for you to express as you, the individual, is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, does that make sense? Okay. Hibiscus Live Community Radio, a little Sunday substance with a lot of substance here. No,
thank you.
I am grateful to be able to do this, because like I said, overcoming the fears of, I don't like all of this, you know, like camera. I look behind me and like, you don't know the screams that are in my head. However, I am Lady Substance, so I will face every fear, you know, because there is nothing to fear but fear itself. this is what we must overcome. My inhibitions are coming from here. This wonderful machine that's in there, it can do a lot more than tell me you're ugly, you this, you not do that right, blah blah. It can tell me, you know what, D, there's a world of possibilities, and this shows, you know, we can grow with each step that we take.
Yes.
And there are people out there who are actually doing, you know, the journalism thing. When I was in school, I wanted to be a journalist.
Yes.
And it's like the teacher come tell me, but we should be a secretary. And it's like inside something in my head said, okay then, you know what I mean? It can be done. And even though I did not go that route, that urge to write, but I understand now why that came. I needed to write, I needed to tell my story.
Yeah.
I needed somebody to listen, you know. So it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to be a journalist. I needed to speak. I can grow and see the benefit of that, you know.
But look at Benjamin. Benjamin couldn't read. And look how he's one of the most prolific writers, children's writers and poets, and his output was just absolutely astonishing. Do you mean? So, and he used to write a regular blog on his website. So it just shows you what is possible. Do you mean? And he was, you know, doing poetry in his young teens, isn't it? You know, from 10 he was engaging with that. So there's something for everybody. Do you mean?
He engaged as himself.
Absolutely. He was
wasn't
finding
trying
himself, isn't it?
Yes,
Through it. He was
yeah.
finding his voice. And not all the time you find your voice like that. You know, I'm still finding my voice. And I think that a lot of what you're talking about is so real, about in the head, because a lot of the stuff that flies around in there is not ours. But it's it's about the fact that we survived many things. So ego and the thought process is there still trying to protect you when you don't need that level of protection anymore. And it's a hindrance, but it feels so real. And I think, again, it's about understanding all these things and how it operates so you can manage it better. Do you mean? Because it feels like you can't manage it because it feels like, well, it must be true because it's in my head. Oh, no.
That's it. We are the ultimate computer, you know.
Yes.
This thing where they're trying, the AI is going to take over. We are the AI that they're trying to reproduce. If we tap into that, one of the most beautiful things I learned was like if I spiral down, I have the power to change myself into the phoenix. And if something I'll drop on me head, me can change myself into something else. I have the power. I am the human being, blessed by Jah. I can do anything. It's if I hold on to the negative, that's all I will get. If I look to the positive, I will find my way out, you know. And you do it by who you are, you know. I'm just being me, and me surprise myself sometimes. But the beauty is Jah put somebody else in my path, and okay, I can hold up, you know, because that's the way it's all about. Like you say, talking to strangers sometimes it can be the epiphany of sense for you.
Yes.
You know, and then
Or you're a messenger for them. Yeah. Because a lot of the time is that people are walking around not feeling seen, and a lot of the time we don't see ourselves. So you need other people in your life. You think you know, to affirm. And when it's a stranger, someone doesn't know you, and they say something like maybe your mother said or a friend said positively, and you struggle with it a bit, do you mean? Or to counter something that was said to you negatively, and someone says something to you and it resonates with you. It's not about you deluding yourself. There's a difference. Yeah. But it resonates with you enough to know, you know what? If this person who I don't know from Adam this lifetime, that's another story, you know, and he's saying something to me and I just connect with it. Or sometimes you just feel, I don't know, I'm just like, I need to say something to this person. You know what I mean? I just do. I just follow that. Exactly. And people are more receptive than you think, but it's because it's not about you. It's about the fact that there's a message that you got to pass on, because I look at enough of them being passed on to me. And it's not maybe from the person you expect. Yes. So you're looking here to get it from your mum and your dad and your sister or whoever, or the teacher who said something to you, and he's passed it on. You look, but then the person who's going to facilitate you and help you recover is over here, and may look like nothing like them, but you need to hear it and be open. I'm telling you, it's like a little treasure trail. Yeah. Really, and sometimes you know when you get lost, or you take the wrong thing or whatever because there's something or someone you're supposed to interact with. This. You know, whether you believe in these things, it's happened to me in 2 ridiculous amounts of time. take notice now.
See, and that's the
You know?
testimony, it's the sharing. It is possible. Because I worried that the numbers of like mental health cases of people in suicide, people in stresses.
And more men now
you know,
committing
and
suicide.
yeah.
Black men committing suicide
Exactly,
now. So,
and I have
it's,
two sons, and we can't hide them business card and we're upset, but the way they don't want to tell me.
Men who are dying by suicide, I want to make sure that's said correctly. Yes,
we have to have our men, our children, our people. We talk what we're feeling, because it is when you let it out, someone else can say, "I've had that," or maybe it's something like this. There's hope, basically. You know, too many of us are giving up. You feel there's no hope, there's nothing there. I am living proof that you can change that around. Joy is living proof it can be changed around. There are men within our community living proof it can be turned around. So please share that.
And for black women as well, because significant before the stats were available, but more black women are self-harming now.
Really?
Yes, as well. And I think that's deep pain. You know, outside of a so-called cry for help and everything, that's deep pain. And I think, and also we've got to be honest, talking does not suit everybody either. It's a good start. It works for me, because I could feel, be in a very strange space. But as soon as I talk to somebody, it doesn't have to be about me. I just talk to somebody, and I just calm down. You know, there's something for me about connection, and I think it's about for me, connection is a driver. It underpins what I do, and it also is good for my well-being. I need my own space, but there is something about connection that is like the piece of me, the jigsaw that is necessary for me. Not everybody. One of my sisters, for her, she has to process things a particular way, and when she's ready, she'll talk. Yeah. So I think we have to understand that there's
give people the space to be.
Absolutely, because they may want to be around people but not say anything. And when they're ready, they may say 2 or 3 things, and that's enough. Because then you could go the other way and harm the person because there's too much pressure. You need to talk. Yeah. And it's not for everybody, and not all of us have been acclimatized to that and know even how to do it.
Yeah, because I do it with my son.
Because sometimes that's why the poetry, writing is important. That's why having creativity is the essence of our being.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. You know, when you think about everything from reggae to dance styles to hip hop, we can turn anything into anything, right? It's just clothes made, whatever, cooking. My mum's an experienced gardener. She can make anything grow. Enfield in bloom. No one taught her. Wow. It's all intuitive and instinctive and from love. And I think that so it may be through art therapy. It may be all the things that's available. It shouldn't just be. I mean, I know we talk about we need to start talking therapists. We need to talk, but actually, there's different ways in which it's gonna work.
Especially if you're doing it through the medical route. Yeah. Waiting on them, you don't have to. This is what I'm saying. What we're trying to say. Utilize the communication now. You utilize your creativity. I say it because we are children of the Creator. That is our avenue out. Whether it be doing a crochet, doing a poem, doing whatever creation. We have to be creative to heal, to prosper, to flourish. And like you say, nothing stays stagnant. If you're stagnant, you're dead. Life is movement. Life is forever moving. The world is forever turning. We can't feel it. It's always on the move. That's what can mess us up sometimes. I used to want to find the formula to stop pain, all the grief and stuff. I'm hunting all my life. Oh, stop drinking there. Stop doing that there. Oh, pain's still happening. No, there ain't going to be no formula because no one's got a head to put themselves in the future. But the steps that you take to stop, think, reassess, relearn, and give yourself that love that you feel you can't get from outside. Love self, we will grow because people will come in your path and you will see. They see what you are. They see you. You are seen. Yes. You are heard.
And I was going to say, because I was going to say about the role of meditation, things like yoga, our ancestry. Do you know what I mean? The chakras. All these things that are there that we can utilize and engage with. I mean, there's someone called Caroline Shola Herrera, who does she's amazing. I mean, she's the one who did the research into the whole sort of African history and Genesis and Egyptian influence of things like the chakra system, and written an amazing book in relation to that. It's about nearly 30 years old now, and so you can find her on Google. I recommend her. Caroline Scholler with a H, Arewa, Arewa. And so you can find her online. There's also Ife Yoga, IFE Yoga. Patsy Isles, amazing. Again, a lot of black people are now retraining as practitioners to reclaim it, and so it's centered to who we are in our multiplicity. And then also there's a really good app called Insight Timer, which has got a million global community. It's free. And what you get, the resources you get for free. I used it for 7 years for free before I signed up for an annual one, because there's amazing courses.
What's that?
So it's an app that is around well-being. But what happened, it blew up even more so during COVID, and they have black practitioners, African American, Caribbean, Black British, so everything. They set challenges like around sleep, around self-love, around you name it, self-confidence.
And you're still with them?
Oh no, so Inside Timer, you'll see the sound bowl, a brass sound bowl, that's the right app. Give it a try. I always recommend it because it is so useful. So there's things that if you've don't think you have much time in the morning, there's really good meditations for only 5 minutes. You can have the ones where you just have the sound bowl and you use that for yourself. But you name it, there's even meditations for children and story time for children to help them sleep, and things to help you sleep. Nidra yoga. So, and there's things I didn't know about and I've learnt about, but I'm telling you, it's helped me. And it's helped me if you want to journal, don't know how to start journaling. Everything, whatever level your spiritual engagement is, and even if you don't see yourself as spiritual, there's just some good practices around how you just get your goals met, how to set goals. So just check it out. I think it's important to spread the word about things out there that's really beneficial, and we need to access these things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
On that note, because I know she's a busy woman, and it's like you see all these things you're doing. Of course, you have to be, because just you have a whole heap of things to spread around to people.
Yeah. And I have to, and I'm learning the word no, for to say yes to me. So yeah, and but look, I appreciate the opportunity, and this has been a pleasure. Keep on doing what you're doing, Dion.
Thank you very much, Joy. It's like, you know what? You're gonna have to come back again, and maybe we have to have it do a guest DJing, because
my gosh.
on the thing. So we have the what is it? Hybrid DJ, hybrid
J, yes.
hybrid J on Hibiscus Live Community Radio. When it happened, maybe in the summertime, where we can have our shots and things. We can the 60-year-old cruise, you know what I mean? All but no cool. Hopefully, you will definitely come back and we can expand more, because. Listen, something Sinead O'Connor said, and I only knew after she died. They tried to bury her. Well, let me change it. They tried to bury us. We are seeds. We are gonna grow. Thank you very much.
Oh, pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And good luck, everyone.
Hibiscus Live Community Radio, Little Sunday Substance out. Have a great full weekend.